AITA for giving away an expensive KitchenAid stand mixer my dad got me for my birthday that I thought looked extremely ugly. Background. For my 24th birthday, my dad got me a gray metal KitchenAid stand mixer for my apartment. It was about $700 I think. However, I did not ask for this, and honestly I freaking hate the color as it does not match anything in my place and it's also too big. I gave it to my friend who liked it and was moving to a different state. My boyfriend then got me a cute black stand mixer that fit into my apartment a lot better, so that's what I have. My dad was over last night and he noticed that the gray stand mixer was gone and replaced by the black one. He asked where it was and I told him the truth, namely, that I thought the gray was ugly, so I gave it to my friend and my boyfriend got me the black one instead. My dad was shocked and said the gray stand mixer had cost a lot and that he thought I would have liked it, so that's why he gave it to me as a present. Maybe here's where I'm the off. I said if he would have been more observant, he would have known that I absolutely hate the color gray. It's my least favorite color. And everyone in my life who knows me knows that. I honestly wasn't trying to be rude, I was just stating a fact. But my mom called me today and told me I really hurt my dad and need to apologize for throwing away a thoughtful birthday gift my dad had put a lot of money and thought into. I don't think that's necessary. I think after my dad gave me the stand mixer, it became mine and I could do anything with it. And I didn't throw it away, I gave it to a friend. So AITA? Edit. Okay, so clearly I'm the AmItheAsshole. I'll apologize to my dad. I didn't think it was such a big deal. But clearly I'm wrong. To explain some things. 1. I didn't say that observant comment towered him. He kept saying he picked out gray because it matches everything, which it does not. So that's why I elaborated on me hating gray too, literally. Everyone I'm close with, except my dad I guess, knows I hate gray. It's almost a running joke at this point. 3. My friend is really into cooking, baking, and I wanted to give her a moving away gift. She's not just some rando person I gave it to. AITA for buying a PS5 for my daughter when my ex asked me not to. My ex and I have a 14-year-old daughter together. She also has 2 more kids who are 16M and 11F. We have 50-50 custody. Here is the problem: my daughter loves gaming. She has been begging her mom and I to buy her a PS5. I bought one for her a few weeks ago, but I didn't give it to her right away. I decided to wait until after an important and difficult exam that she had and give it to her as a prize for getting an A+ in that exam, which I knew she would. A few days ago my ex called me and asked me not to buy a PS5 for my daughter, as apparently she has been gloating to her siblings and making them jealous because their parents are financially struggling and they can't have as many privileges as my daughter. My ex gave me a long lecture about how she doesn't deserve another privilege because of her behavior. I told her I will consider it. Booty didn't promise anything. Well, she got her exam results a couple of days ago, and not only she got an A+, she was the only A+ in her grade. I was extremely proud and decided Thatch deserves getting her new PS5 and gave it to her. Yesterday I took her to her mom's home, and a few minutes after I left my ex called screaming at me, asking me why I did it when she specifically asked me not to do it. She thinks I'm a huge asshole for doing this, but I think as her dad, I should be able to decide what my daughter does, or does not, deserve, and my ex doesn't have the right to tell me what to do. AITA for turning around and going home on my way to the airport for a girls' trip. I, 23F, was supposed to go on a girls' weekend trip to Spain with my longtime friend of almost 10 years, 24F, and her other female friend, 28F, who I was excited to meet. We all live in Germany. Boother and her friend live about 3.5 hours away from, and I live closer to Frankfurt. They decided that they wanted to drive through the night, about 10 hours, and arrive in the morning, and said that if I could meet them in their town I could drive with them. I instead elected to just fly over and meet them there since I live so close to an airport. The day before the trip she texts me a link to book some tickets to a museum that her and her friend booked. She told me to book for 2 p.m., which is when they booked for. When I clicked the link, the only time slot available was 8:35 a.m. I pretty much was like, whatever, I will do something else while they are doing that. The night before the trip I text her asking her how much I owed her for accommodations and whatever else that we are splitting. This is the second time I've asked her since her friend was the one doing the bookings, and I just assumed I would send them a share when they told me how much it cost. She didn't answer, but I just assumed she was sleeping to prepare for the long drive. The morning of my flight, 3 hours before my flight leaves, she tells me that I had to book my own hotel room because they're having a guy friend come with them that they invited last minute. She sent me a link so I could book at the same hotel as them for that night, but all the rooms were fully booked. I Searched around the area too, and all rooms were booked or very expensive. I really wanted to go, so I just kind of let it go and prepared myself to spend some extra money for a hotel room for myself in a different hotel. But on the way to the airport I had a gut feeling that I wasn't going to enjoy myself. So I turned around and went home and sent her a text saying I was going to sit this one out because I was expecting a girls' trip. She's being short with me now and thinks I'm being unreasonable. AITA? AITA for taking a nap and letting my wife take care of our baby by herself? Our baby is 5 weeks old, he doesn't sleep thought a night yet. Wife and I split times to wake you and nurse him back to sleep. She's a som while I work in retail from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wife was feeling a bit sick. She had a cold the other day, so I offered to take care of our son 4th night so she was able to sleep well and get better. We did just that. I woke up every time to take care of the baby during the night. The next morning I was wasted but still had to go to work. I managed it but was exhausted and desperately needed a nap. Usually when I come home I take over the baby duties and she has been taking care of him Al1 the whole day, but this time I was exhausted. So instead I took a quick shower and went to sleep. I slept for around 1.5 hours and woke up when dinner was ready. She told me off for going napping instead of helping her. I explained how tired I was and she told me that I shouldn't have offered to sew all the baby care the night before if I was going to be a crybaby the next day. She also said that she had to do all of the household work, so she was exhausted as well. We did the splitting the baby care as usual that night too. She's upset still. I think she's been unfair because I meant to help her feel better when I offered to take over the night and it was obvious I was going to be tired the next day. I don't think I was an asshole here, but perhaps I was. AITA for refusing to get my tattoo laser removed or covered up after my boyfriend asked me to. I, 23F, have a friendship tattoo with my female best friend, April, and my ex-boyfriend, Rory. As 3 of us were best friends from the moment we saw each other in high school when we were 14. I got together with my ex when we were 17, got the tattoo when we were 18, stayed together with Rory for 3 years, then broke up, and now, after another 3 years, we're still friends. So it never really occurred to me to do anything about the tattoo. It means a lot to me. Nothing special though, just a triangle with 3 dots inside, representing the 3 Ofus. No one would ever guess what it is. All of you shave it on the back of our legs. I got together with my current boyfriend, 24M, a few months ago, and I made it clear from the start that I'm still friends with my ex and nothing is going to change that. I see him about 2 to 3 times per year because he moved to a different country, so it shouldn't cause much of an issue anyway. So my boyfriend, let's call him Edward, was very chill about this, so I agreed to actually get together instead of just dating. Fast forward to a week ago, he noticed the tattoo on the back of my leg and asked if it had any meaning, so I told him. The 3 dots are me, April, and Rory, and we all have the same one. Hearing this, Edward got super upset, and after a heated argument he told me if I truly loved him I would immediately get it either removed or covered up. Now there is absolutely no way I'm doing that, and he told him so. We haven't talked since, and I'm honestly starting to question whether I'm in the right for wanting to keep my only tattoo as it is. I love Edward, but it doesn't sit right with me to remove something important to me just so he'd stay with me. I also don't understand why it made him upset, since he knew I'm still friends with Rory. He refuses to talk to me now, until I get that thing removed. I told him he was being pathetic, and to think this through again. We're still not talking, and it's either I get an appointment or we break up. He won't change his mind. AITA? TDLR. I have a friendship tattoo with my ex-boyfriend, and my current one wants me to remove it, which I refuse to do. AITA for warning my sister about her misogynistic boyfriend? My sister, 21F, has a new boyfriend, 36M. They met 3 months ago at a nightclub. He owns a large-scale cleaning business, inherited from his father, makes a lot of money and has a huge ego. Up until now, my sister has had 2 boyfriends and both of them were around her age. She was single for a year before she met her current boyfriend though. My biggest problem with him, besides the fact that he is 15 years older than her, is the fact that he's a raging misogynist. I've only met him once, but he left an extremely bad impression in me. The 3 of us were having dinner and somehow the topic of the war in Ukraine came up. We were discussing how it's so unfortunate that so many people have lost their lives. At one point, my sister's boyfriend said something to the effect of, "Yeah, isn't it funny how women always demand equal pay and treatment, but when things get hot they are the first to flee and men have to deal with everything alone?" My sister laughed uncomfortably, But I didn't know how to react, so I kept silent. She's also shared with me previously that a few times they were about to go out. He's made comments about her dress being too revealing, and she's had to change her outfit. She's 21. It's only natural that she would dress in such a way. The other day me and my sister were having coffee at my apartment and I decided it would be a good time to raise my concerns. I pointed all the red signs I am seeing in this guy. My sister currently studies law. She's worked really hard to get into a good college. I told her that if things get more serious, he will 100% force her to quit her career and be a stay-at-home wife. My sister got angry after hearing these comments and accused me of being jealous because she's found somebody so successful and good-looking who is going to take care of her. For the record, I've been single for the past few years, but it's because of personal preference. She then stormed off my apartment. She also hasn't returned any of my calls in the last 2 days.